So today I will try my best to convey as much as possible in my 15-minute of allowance time of, my first best practice over here. That is reusing of the test artifacts. So what we mean by reusing the test artifacts. So basically test artifact is your test cases, custom keyword or test suite. So because if you are a QA guys or you are a developer guys, there's no one that's want to writing the test case over and over and over again for one simple steps, right? So we always need to find a way to reuse all the test cases into making another test case much more faster. So for example, if you are making one test case and the precondition is always like logging to that homepage or something like that, so you need to find a way to reuse that test case, right? So Catalan provide you the method and the tools for you to do all of that in the most simplest way. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump right into this session and tell you more about that. So why do we need to reuse the test artifacts? So the first thing, the most obvious thing is gonna have you to create all the test cases faster because you're gonna reuse another test case to create a new test case. The second thing is gonna be you just need to not to maintain that much of test case if you are reusing the old test case. So when anything happen, all you need to do is just to maintain it at one point in your project. And maybe it's, yeah, and surely it's gonna help you to gradually increase the performance of the tool if you use all the reusing of the test artifact correctly. So let's go to another slide and let me explain for you what I mean by this slide. Okay. So the first thing I want to tell you about is if you guys get familiar with the test automation field, you might have know about the term of the test of the page object model before, right? And basically Catalan is built upon this model, but there's maybe another, because Catalan has been out there on the market for like 5 years already. So there's a lot of misuse of this practice inside Catalan Studio. So if you might have know about Catalan Studio, so there's the part we call the custom keyword. And there's a lot of people that apply the pay object model inside the custom keyword. And so that you're gonna build the packet and then you're gonna store the based on the page inside the custom keyword, and everything you're gonna store under the keywords level. So what's the what's the advantage of this approaching? So it's gonna be programmatically easy to understand if you are the programmer or if you are some kind of senior QA engineer, and it's gonna strictly follow the pay object model. If you coming to Catalan Studio from another framework using Selenium. But there's a lot of disadvantages. So it's gonna be hard for the newcomer, fresher QA engineer that getting into your project and know what is really going on underneath the hood. The second thing is gonna be is reduce the performance on some level. If you're calling from the custom keyword level, it's gonna be a little bit slower than you calling it using the test cases. And I will try to make this clear for you after this part. And another most obviously thing is gonna be the class initiative. What I mean by class initiative is either new keyword if you are familiar with Java. And the team had to follow the process strictly or the pay object model kind of get messy really soon. And because of all of that disadvantages, Catalan gonna have you to recommend this practice. So basically, page object model gonna be stored in the test case and object repository level, and the keyword is just gonna use for adding the capability only. So with this approach, it's gonna actually help you to having the codeless approach, and it's gonna be much more easier to use and with the better performance. But you know, there's always a disadvantages, and this one is gonna be your team had to follow this process as strictly as the page object model common practice out there. Because if you're not doing that, then your project gonna get messy really soon. Okay, so let me elaborate on what I had just told you. So this is what it looked like if you apply the page object model using Catalan Studio. So when you're seeing inside the test cases, all the common test script is gonna store by using the page. So that's really page object model, right? So all of the common test case like login or some action that you're gonna do on some specific page is gonna store inside the test cases level. And when you want to reuse it, all you need to do is just to drag and drop it. And I'm gonna show you on the demo later. And for the object repository, it's gonna be the same. Then you can, but it has something more advanced. So if you want to do it with the dynamic object, so you're gonna store it under the dynamic object folder. And if you are using the static object, then you need to store it under the static object folder, but it still applies strictly the page object model. So you can see it here, it's still based on the page of the project. Okay, so this is my mock project, so don't worry about the page name. Okay, so but before elaborating into all the thing, I gonna show you how to design the test case. So based on this flow, when you create the test case, you're gonna need to consider using the command action. And if you want to use the common action, then you need to create a common test case. So that's the reason why we have this level here. And for example, if there's some missing in under the keyword, so you, for example, the built-in keyword that's provided by Catalan is not enough, then you need to implement more of the custom keyword. So that's why. So there's no page object model under the keyword level anymore, but the keyword is just help you to adding more function, more capability into the pool of the built-in keyword of Catalan Studio. Okay. Okay, so without further talking about all of this, I'm gonna go directly into Catalan Studio and show you what's gonna happen. So there's two scenarios that I want to mention here. The first scenario is kind of using the old approaching of the pay object model. And you can see that it is getting a lot of messing here, right? Because right now you need to store every action on the page, and all of that is going to be represented by a keyword, a function, instead of something that's really simple to see like you guys seeing here. A test case with a description that everyone can go into and look and know, okay, what does mean, right? And even when you want to reuse the test case, it's going to be really hard if you do it under the keyword level, right? But if you're doing it on this level, I'm going to show you how to do that. So basically, if you want to have some test case related to the admin page, for example, I give it a name like this. And all I need to do is just to find something in the comment page, put it in, find something in the admin page, put it in, and find something on the another thing on the admin page and put it in. Okay, so I can create a test case by this really simple step, and it's really the code-like approach, right? Okay, so that's the meaning for when we want to having like a pay object model using Catalan Studio. All right, so and for example, if when we look at this level of the test case, the common test case level, you can see this one is the built-in keyword of Catalan Studio, right? But if you are missing some of the capability from Catalan Studio, you always can go into this keyword and then you create a custom keyword. Okay, and then all you need to do is to go back into this test case and then call the custom keyword. Okay, and you can select from the pool of custom keyword over here. It's already ready for you. Okay. Okay, so that's one is for the practice of using the pay object model for Catalan Studio. We're gonna have the Q&A session after this, so feel free to ask your question. Okay, so I'm gonna continue on to the next item. That's what I want to share with you. So, okay, so the last thing that I want to share with you guys is about the test listener. So for example, if you already using all the tests we're using, but it's still kind of repetitive, like if you have some action that you need to do every time that you start the test case, so it's gonna be nonsense if you keep drag and dropping it into this test case, right? So the most basic way for you to do that is to implement that into the test listener. So how to do that? So when you kind of create the test listener, and then you kind of put some method with the tag of annotation of before the test case or after the test case or after the test suite, then every time that you run that test case, it's gonna run that feature, that function, or that test case for you. Okay, so that's for the test listener one.